Why every episode you will like need to take a deep breath?
Because
you just ate a bajang.
I just ate a bajang after another episode lah. Because we batch record ma.
Again, can you stop exposing us?
What?
No lah, we
Just
only
say
record like 2 episodes this time.
Yeah lah.
Because we are busy people.
Every recording is very tiring. So I hope y'all appreciate this, the listeners, and give us a good review, 5-star on Spotify. And then drop us a DM also. Engage with us lah. Don't make us feel like we're talking to air, I know a lot of people are listening lah. Not a lot lah, but like at least,
Substantial.
Substantial.
Far from highly rated podcasters on Spotify on their front page.
That's not our aspiration lah.
That's not.
We're really doing this just for fun. But the previous topic, as you would have already know, or because it's been live, hopefully, is about our memories in our secondary school, right? And with a lot of our memories back in school, there are also a lot of happy ones and not so happy ones. And for today's episode, we really want to delve a little bit deeper into the not so pleasant ones lah. And as you know, it is a topic about bullying, right? Just to have a disclaimer here, we are not professionals. We don't really have equipment to deal with such incidences, but what we can share with you is our experience back in school as students, right? How we experience bullying firsthand, or if not, how we have observed bullying being done on other people, and our attitude and as well as memories towards that.
Yeah. And I think we might talk a little bit about bullying in adulthood. And
we'll segue towards that as well, because I feel like everything starts from when we were young, right?
Some things.
Yeah. Especially habits. So maybe we can glean some insights on how, when we were younger, our attitudes towards this will lead to,
how we respond to bullying, or like how some bullies have, why are some bullies, bullies?
Why are they bullies?
And whether we can buzz a little bit about how we can deal with bullies and how we can manage, help, or transcend bullying.
Hopefully lah. Yeah, because we try not to be very prescriptive or what, because we're not like we are not professionals. Dealing with this, and if you need help, please seek the help of from a professional. So with that, bullying, earliest memory, or like there's this very familiar thing, right? Playground politics or playground dynamics, right? And kindergarten kind of, ha ha, you bully me, or ha ha, teacher, the person bully me. I think that's the many people's earliest memories of bullying, or getting bullied,
or bullying getting called,
or victimizing ourselves.
Haha, he bullied me. So with that, but what really is bullying, right? So if we look at Wikipedia,
teacher, why are you quoting Wikipedia?
Teacher, but I mean, like, it is a very broad and good, I think, definition of Wikipedia also. At least I've done my homework. Okay, alright.
I don't do my homework.
So bullying is the use of force, coercion, hurtful teasing, or threat to abuse, aggressively to dominate or intimidate, and the behavior is often repeated and habitual. And one essential prerequisite is the perception by the bully or by the others of an imbalanced physical or social power. So I think this power thing is really at the central of bullying or
power dynamics.
Yes, and bullying, right? There are different forms, of course. There can be a very visible, physical, verbal kind of bullying, or it can be, and many times, more insidious form of bullying, right? In terms of
Name calling.
Name calling is quite a physical manifestation, right? It's visible.
Okay.
There are also invisible forms,
Such as?
like workplace bullying or school bullying, where there's social pressure and then outcasting someone, or in terms of structure, in the office, figures of authority.
They limit information.
To hold power.
Yes.
These kind of things are more insidious, but we will be discussing about all this, in today's episode. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Eric,
yes.
Have you been bullied?
My hair stand when you ask me this
really,
question. How do I put this? I probably might have been bullied growing up, but I might also have bullied others growing up.
Correct.
too.
Thank you for, being very honest. I'm sure many of us, sometimes we are also, if we are not the main aggressor, we are complicit in allowing certain situations to happen. So tell us more.
There is no specific incident that I remember, but there are obviously, times where I felt that I was victimized, right, by a group of people, especially in primary school.
Yes.
I think because kids are damn savage, man.
Correct.
And I talk about me being Clara and I being prefects in secondary school, right? I wasn't a prefect in primary school, but I can say that the prefects in primary school, they are the worst.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
Yes, because you give power to kids
who cannot make sense of the power.
And the responsibility that comes with it. They wield it like a sword and they make other kids feel bad. Yeah, so I was first-hand thought until the saliva come out.
You don't have to tell them that,
Yeah, first-hand experience that lah. And I think that was very shaping of my attitude towards power and authority as well. In that sense, I mean, we talk a lot about in our previous episode about authority towards teachers, right?
Yeah.
We thinking back, we might have also been bullied by our teacher as well. I mean, Clara's case, it was quite evident in her story that she's going to share probably later. So for me, bullying children, it is very common. Back in the time, I don't know about now lah, but back in the time it was very common. You will be lucky if you have a channel to air your grievances. If not, then you evolve into a bully as well.
Correct.
Because then you feel like, okay, I need to protect myself, and the only way to do it is to out-bully a bully. And then it becomes a vicious cycle, I guess. And moving into from primary school to secondary school, there was a lot of angst. There was a lot of emotional, I guess, growth and development as well. And we were basically left in our own devices to explore those very strong emotions. And there were a lot of times where classmates were unable to do that in a healthy manner. So they probably, in my opinion, probably unleash certain unhealthy or unwholesome behavior towards others who were seemingly more weak, for example, or unable to establish their own dominance in their own way, right? So yeah, I myself sometimes have also bullied others subconsciously too. It's not my intention to want to make somebody feel bad or what, but maybe I belong to a particular clique, right? And then it's a group think, isn't it? Like the majority of the clique thinks that, oh, this person not cool enough for them. And then being part of the clique, you might, because fear of being ostracized, you may not want to voice your own opinions about this. Like, hey guys, this is wrong, don't do that. You don't have that. Yeah, you don't have that. And silence is actually being complicit as well lah.
Correct.
Yeah, so I was guilty of that too, right? But coming out of this isolated incidents, it made me realize that it takes a lot of support from adults towards the adolescents group to help them break out of the cycle.
Correct.
and also support from a larger perspective or community. Yeah, so I was watching this in the previous episode. I said like I was watching this Netflix show called Juvenile Justice, where they were just showing how kids, they fall through the cracks and they commit crimes, and some of them really pure evil but some of them is like because of circumstance. And where do we draw the line between our intervention and prevention, and also letting them be in their own device and get drowned in the system, for example. So yeah, today's topic is going to be quite heavy because we've got a lot of experiences to share, and hopefully from this sharing we can also come to a consensus or possibly some I don't know,
like help us to navigate the webs of power, right?
Webs of power through our adulthood these days.
Yeah. So I don't know, because like I mentioned before, because of my pui size and my introvert nature, I was bullied quite a lot in primary school.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The earliest memory, right, was when I transferred school and we moved to a new estate, and therefore I had to transfer school. And I do not know why, right, at that period in time, schools were very lax.
In terms of
they gave primary school kids, upper primary school kids, a lot of power, or there's just a lack of structure. I remember I was in primary 2, I transferred new student in that school. And I was bullied by both adult and students.
Okay.
Right? So I was in the school, and then for no reason, there's this batch of seniors who came into the class. There wasn't any, I think like the teacher was absent or needed to go away for 1 hour. Why did they ask primary school kids to come in and take care of the class? What on earth, like thinking back. So there's this group of people who came in, and that point of time I was unfamiliar with the school, so I thought she was a prefect or something. But she wasn't. She was just a random girl from like upper primary. She came in and shouted at the class, and she shouted specifically at me. And like called me an idiot or something.
Wow. Okay.
I was very confused. I didn't know what was happening, but I was very scared. And then also I think in my first 2 weeks of school, I started to do very badly in math. And I was a new transfer student. I didn't know what was going on. They were teaching at different paces, right, in the school. I remember doing some wrong, and the teacher asked me to go to the front. He pulled my ear and shook my head really hard.
No.
So how is this, like thinking back as adults, right? We're like, what's going on? Right? Like what is going on for like different, like the school to enable this kind of bullying in terms of like within the student population, as well as adult on a child. Right? So this is a big no-no. I think subsequently when I grow a bit older, so this bully, I just remembered, they surfaced again, that bully who shouted at me in the class. I think like 2 years later, I was at the playground downstairs and just playing my cousins. They were over visiting, right? Suddenly there were a group of people on rollerblades, and they circled the premises of the playground that we were at, and at that point in time it's only my cousins and I, and they started chanting things and saying that we are very smelly and things like that. It was a very threatening, and it was again no context kind of situation. Luckily my mom and my aunt, they were actually we didn't know, but they were looking at us from the HDB apartment, right, the block, and they immediately came down and
scolded them.
They didn't scold them, but if now looking back they should have. Right? So then they went away lah, and I realized that girl was she stayed at my mom's block. But I didn't feel like sometimes I see her in school and I feel a bit scared, but I didn't make a big deal out of it as well. But it's the kind of like what are you doing? Like why would people want to? So that was my earliest memory. And then subsequently, of course, I was being bullied by being outcasted in social circles in school because I was fat, and I don't know how to study. And then also when I was primary 4, I remember distinctively. Am I going to call out that guy because the guy's name is part of the punchline?
Whatever lah, unless he currently works for PAP.
No lah, I don't think he's not in any of my radar now, right? Okay, so I remember this guy's name. His name is Dick.
Dick Xia.
Correct. So Dick Xia is was my table partner in primary 4, and he will always call me fat. He will always call me like or then he will like, I remember he will just look at me and then he will snigger, and he will punch me.
Yeah.
And
punch you?
Pinch me, yes.
How can that be allowed?
Correct. So, my mother's stance, which I am not a parent, so I do not know whether this is correct or not.
Yeah.
She says don't retaliate physically or verbally or engage with the person. Tell the teacher. But this is given, I think now that I think back, it's given that the teacher is doing his or her job in the first place. Yeah. So I told the teacher that this has been going on. But I think I didn't have strict crack, right? Because I'm not the favorite student. I'm not the, I'm not a favorite student. So what he did was he moved the table away like 1 meter apart.
Okay.
So
SMM,
Dick Xia,
safe distancing.
He thought, I was like, you're damn stupid, because Dick Xia continued his verbal abuse, which will be present, right?
Yeah.
And Dick Xia started kicking me because leg can be extended longer. And Dick Xia decided that he should dig his nose, make his booger into the pellet.
Throw at you.
And then piak at me.
My God.
Yeah. And if I have known, okay, then this will be reverse bullying, but it's also, if I have known what the meaning of dick was, right? I would have just, but I was just in a very powerless, innocent state where I couldn't know what to do about anything, and the adults were not helping. Yeah, that was one. And then the last vivid memory, I think I have quite a few in primary school, really, because like once you're fatso, right? Yeah. Once you're fatso and you are not a bully, then you get bullied, right? Yeah. So in one of the weekend religious class that my mom enrolled me into, out of nowhere, right? This girl, I know who she is because we shared the same tuition teacher, but we are not in the same tuition group. It's just like our private tuition that I have heard my tutor mentioning about her. She's the same age as me, but she was bigger size than me. And she decided out of nowhere to yank my hair and shake me, my whole head. I remember it was so painful. I was like going to cry already. I asked her to stop it, but she didn't want to. And guess what? It was in a canteen where all the adults were there. And nobody stepped in to do anything.
You screamed?
I did. Nobody came to my help. Yeah. So thinking back, I was like, there's something wrong with this onlooker culture in the society.
How old were you when you...
It was like the pulling hair one was 11 or 12.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And I think I spilled vulgarity already at her. I asked her to stop it already, right? But maybe the adults think that it's a petty, but how can this be a petty thing? Yeah. And so that's why, right, I think with all these experiences, in my teaching or on the streets or whatever, I have a no bullying policy.
Yes.
So in class, right, you will sense the type of dynamic already in class, actually. So I don't think it's an excuse for adults who are in power or figures who are in power in an organization to just say it's none of my business. Right? And especially if you're a teacher, because I see myself as putting a stop to this stupid cycle.
Correct.
So people who will be bullied are usually people with they high need students, or they are on the spectrum.
They have a condition.
Or maybe different race. Yeah.
Or different, maybe they have they look different.
Correct. So people who are usually different are the people who are outcasted and bullied, right? Yeah. So especially in the secondary school, I have I explicitly will address it in class. And I will say that this is a no bullying. This classroom, and if I have to call out, I will call out directly in the class. Or if the situation is more sensitive or complicated, if the so-called victim, I don't want to call it, is it the correct term?
What do you mean?
The person will get bullied.
Victim, say as it is.
Who is not in class, I will, blast class or tell them why it's wrong and stuff like that. And it actually worked lah. Like I see them like, yes, they know that that person cannot be in their social circle because it's impossible and they need a lot of patience. But at least when that person need help or like when upper sec bully came into the class to pick a fight with that guy, because that guy he doesn't have filter, right? He might pick a fight with them, right? I was glad that then the students were able to support him
that's
and
great.
help. So I really think
cycle,
that
man.
Correct, you need to break the cycle. Or like I think a few months ago when I was buying things at my mom's house, again primary school kids, right, trying to like bullying one person. Then I wanted to intervene already. Yeah. But I shot them a dirty look. Yeah. And all of them ran away. Wow. But so I think that we need to put a stop to this lah. Yeah. So that was my
experience as a teacher lah.
Experience as a student who influenced my experience as a teacher.
Now growing up, do you forgive your bully?
I hold no grudge against them, as in like but I was also lucky to be able to process all this. I don't know, like if the person is unable to process all this, worst thing can happen, like bad things happen, right, to people. Yes. They either turn into a bully or they will self-harm or
it's very prevalent, especially when you feel like there's nobody who can empathize or can help in the situation, because these bullies just keep coming and coming and coming. I need to put a stop to it, but I don't know how, and nobody's helping me.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
it's very scary one.
So but those experiences will help me to have a very clear stance in terms of bullying. So in secondary school, right, like I wouldn't give my friends any face, but I don't know how lah, but like the abings, right, they will give me face somehow, or they were not offended by me most of the time. So like if I see explicit physical bullying, which is the easier one to call out, right? Like if they are bullying smaller boys or they are punching or whatever, I will just go to them and shout at them or ask them to stop. So that was my
very good.
How I like. Yeah, you need to be a righteous.
Righteous.
Alien.
Righteousness.
No, you don't
talk about our motto.
Prison motto, but no. Yes. So, on the other hand, another thing that is more insidious, right, is the type of bullying that is invisible. So they don't result in necessarily verbal. Or they are more difficult to catch, or physical. And those usually happen.
Let me share with them. Example.
Of cliques, is it?
Yeah, cliques.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why got clique on?
Okay, I'm not
girls.
I'm not the speaking of mean girls, you know, popular
culture.
Popular culture also perpetuates this kind of shit, like the whole frat boy culture, you know, mean girls and all that. I guess I don't know lah. For me, back in secondary school, the sense of belonging is very important for kids.
Correct.
So we tend to find our own tribe. People that we can connect with, hang out after school, even within class, you know, share notes or like do shit things outside school etc. And the good side of it is that we are very close and we were very almost like exclusive, you know. We even have a band name. It's very disgusting one.
Yeah, the cliques will always have names during our time.
Yeah, cringe. So we have a name lah. So
also you belong to a clique lah.
I belong to a clique.
Okay.
Yeah. So then in that respect, when people look at us and they kind of like sometimes want to join or want to, you know, hang out, or even they are like our own personal friends on a one-on-one basis. Just doesn't belong, just didn't belong in the clique itself. Correct. Right? They will feel very left out. And the sense of aggression towards outsiders in that sense was very apparent one. Yeah, and it can manifest in very snarky remarks.
Correct.
It can manifest in just 不要管他 then just like
Yes.
yeah, very
yes.
evidently giving the cold shoulder.
Correct.
And
it's just ignoring the person and
correct.
denying the person's existence itself is bullying.
Yes. Don't acknowledge that they exist.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's very toxic one. And I was luckier lah because at that time my EQ was pretty high already. We were talking about how leadership roles in secondary school, build our own EQ, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to jump from clique to clique. And if a clique doesn't really accept me, my skin was also thick enough to either walk away from it or make a joke out of it. I was able to do that and no offense being made. And hence, I don't feel like in secondary school I was heavily bullied. Yeah. So, where was I? But yeah, there were cliques. There were the I don't know whether I should say it, but there were the netball girls, the volleyball guys.
Oh my god!
And then there this and that, right?
This was actually okay. So this part, right? The sports, there's certain niche sports in our school was a huge part of the school culture that we were at that time. And actually, I had this conversation with my two classmates, and we were talking about how at the apex, right, of the school, they are all these frat boys and girls, right?
The cool girls
in the volleyball club as well as the netball. The volleyball is a niche CCA in that school, right? So it consists of both the girls and boys team, and then below that tier is the netball girls, and it is just very toxic lah, that culture, because they see themselves and they know
more
that
up.
They are at the apex of the
more up like
ecosystem,
correct,
don't know
correct.
what, right?
Yeah.
And
teachers love them one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Some. Some.
Give
but
face at
some
least.
teachers who belong to that CCA, they enable it also.
Correct.
And they just feel that my students from that club is like superior. Yes. So I think you have a different approach, right, from me. So yours is like, okay, if my skin is thick enough, right, then don't care lah. I got so many different cliques to go to.
Correct.
So I will share it with another person who told me a very harrowing story of she didn't enjoy her secondary school life because she was bullied.
My best friend also.
Yeah. So I went to the secondary school knowing that I'm not going to join any cliques. Yeah, as in like cliques are like, the concept is very lame to me last time. I think when I went to a secondary school, and then I just I don't know, somehow I had the courage. I don't know from where lah, like 我的勇气哪里来的 from Fish Leong maybe. Anyway, so I just decided to like all these are beneath me. Is it a very 好恋 thing to say? No, I don't know. I just like I know that it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, even now you were ahead of your peers.
I don't know lah. Then how I so-called survive and thrive in that system is that I am outside the system. I have many friends. And then there's
you don't depend on one group to keep to have that survival, right?
To have
identity.
But then again, we were not consciously thinking about all this, right?
Oh my God, last time got 干哥干姐.
Correct. So I wasn't in this kind of thing. That's because I was like thinking this is very lame lah. Like in my primary school already had all this, and look what kind of mess they were.
Can you imagine I call you 干姐?
So yeah, I was never involved in any of these god brother sister. Then need to write letter one to people, like letter. You all need to write letter, fold into a heart, then give your 干哥干姐one. That kind of thing. Yes, it exists.
Wow.
And then also in the clique also, then the cliques will always have name. But the cliques, right, you know how they remain exclusive is to always have a limit on the number of people that is allowed in a group. I don't know. So some clique, right, in my classes, right, they impose like we can only have 7 people.
What's the magic number?
Then the name will be the 7 something lah, sisters or some more, don't know what lah.
七公主.
Then it's a very clever thing for them, because then they have this exclusivity
power,
thing like that. If anybody were to not play by their rules, right, they will drop out of the team. And then other people,
they recruit new ones.
Then it will be very select. Then you have to please them to be recruited as their new member. But at that point in time, I didn't give any shit. And then of course they will ignore me because they don't see me as a threat, or because I was a nerd. I'm a nerd, right?
Doing your own thing lah.
I'm a nerd doing my own thing. I wasn't cool at all. And so they are like, don't need me to, they don't see me as a threat, because like The moment they see another girl wanna be as a threat, they will make that girl's life either very hard or they will try to recruit the girl.
Okay.
But nobody dared to touch me because I was like short hair, you know, like mushroom head lah.
Yeah.
And then just doing my own shit, trying to study and memorize the history chapter.
Then who are the victims
chapter 5.
usually of being outcasted?
But they are the people who want to join the clique.
Oh.
Very desperately, but they are not at the
cool level.
So-called chobu level. Their hair is not cockroach enough and they are piercing, right? Not enough also. And also sometimes you don't have the money to buy those CDs, to buy those clothes, to buy those, to rebond your hair, right? So, but I was like, whatever lah. Then it was like, until like, cause I don't give people face also.
Yeah.
But it was at the point where like, they were like, hey, you want to join my clique cause this girl.
Oh, you're recruited leh.
Okay, then I say no thanks.
Membership.
And membership. Then I say no thanks. But then, as I went along,
Centurion Club
as I went along, also guys, and then also I transcend the guys and girls. Cliques lah. I can talk to anyone lah, as long as you're living human being can already. So so I think as time goes by, people know that I am just their friend.
Okay, so I can share this story, although this is not my story to tell.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just use this as an example lah of like classroom bullying, right? It can be as straightforward or as simple as like making the person. Okay, one thing is either you make them feel like they don't exist, right? You outcast them. Or
you put too much attention on them to shame them. Correct.
And I don't know where kids learn all of this one. I really don't know.
From adults or what? Or innate? Do you think it's innate, like evolutionary?
We are like just born evil.
I don't know. Yeah.
Where do we learn power dynamics?
I think the parents also will. Adults will teach their children to do certain things or through role modeling in their own life.
Is it? Maybe?
Yeah.
Like maybe they passive aggressive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Towards their child. But I just have this conclusion that when kids are big bullies themselves, they are actually very hurt. They probably, not to typecast, but I see a trend or a pattern that usually they develop a certain unwholesome habits because they either learn it from the adults or they do it because adults were not present to rectify or correct. So that's that law. And the poor guys who don't know how to assert themselves in this kind of setting gets the brunt of it lah. And what they do with that kind of hurt, it can be very extreme. Some people descend into depression. Some people become bullies themselves. Some people may be scarred forever and literally change how they react with other human beings. So it is really not good lah.
What was the anecdote that you were trying to share?
So things like how sometimes when we were younger, right? We tend to be a little bit more expressive or we try and assert our own self-expression. But when other people, they don't really like it, right? And because they know they have vested power from a clique of people, and they can rally each other to shame this person one.
Yes.
Regardless of whether this person has like offended you or not.
I just feel uncomfortable with the person.
I just feel uncomfortable with you, and then I'm just going to make your life very difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, just because.
And so I think a large part has to do with a lack of empathy.
Really?
Right? And also that for some reason, they super love power.
Yes. And I've also friends who came out of that experience who were real fucking bullies last time and came out of the experience and regretted lah.
Correct.
And really repented and said that and acknowledged that I was also a very hurt person back then because so and so was not in my life and this happened to me. That's why I channeled that kind of anger in school. Right. So
I think if you have been a bullied before complicitly or purposely, it's not actually too late to apologize also.
Yes.
I have friends, class or ex-classmates who say that actually, it was a very difficult time, but then, one of the girls, for example, phoned her to apologize for what she has done. And
in the past?
In the past.
Aww.
It was very nice, but it shows that sometimes Yes, so that's why number one, education is very important because we want our friends or whoever, students, to be conscious of their actions.
Yes, and there's consequences.
Yeah, or like, so if I'm the perpetrator, right, I don't have to be the main perpetrator. I can just be within the same clique, or I can be complicit and things like that. But okay, it's not too late to apologize if you still have the opportunity, and also then you go ahead and empower other people to say that, you know, to stand against bullying lah. So that's the one thing. Then my second one is I actually forgot that this happened, but I think recently I apologized to my Indian ex-classmate. So at the point of time, right, she reminded me that I said, oh yeah, I did apologize, because we were talking about issues surrounding race. You know, like now we are more people, the like younger people are more woke, and then we are also as adults now able to equip ourselves with more vocabulary to talk about racial issues.
And the nuances lah.
Correct, which I think in our secondary school years, the dominant narrative in society is also Singapore is a multicultural society, full stop, that kind of thing, right? Which is no longer the case. We should deepen our conversations surrounding race and racism in Singapore, beyond tokenism. So in our class last time, of course, and in our school, there wasn't a Tamil class. They have to actually travel to another school. I'm glad this is no longer the case for neighborhood school. Even if the Indian community is very small, there are still Tamil classes in schools, which I think is an improvement.
But it's so funny, you know, like there are some people who did not take Tamil at all. Some Indian friends who did not take Tamil at all, and they are being forced to do Tamil language when they go to secondary school. Yeah,
this is the CMIO type casting lah that we had. Anyway, so last time bullying Indian students or especially in our school, in the context of our school, it was very prevalent, and also because of media and everything, right? They don't problematize sort of like this kind of racism. Like, so the whole notion of the Apu Nene will come and catch you, that kind of thing, right? Horrible. So in my class, there were also, so my friend, she until now, I think, to her credit, right, she's the only person who will keep in touch with most of the people in the school. And she's very popular because she really treats people like very genuinely, and she don't have any ill intention towards anyone, and people know it. But it's just last time, because she doesn't mind and she was so outgoing, right? People will name call her and push it. Like, for example, like when we are in the AVA room, then they switch off the light, and this guy will then he'll call her name. You smile, you smile.
So irritating.
And then after she will know what's coming, right? And then she will smile. Then he say, wow, got light bulb switch on. Then after
she said it herself.
No, the other boys lah. And then every day will have new like, actually, to their credit, they are very original,
very
and creative. But then I was also laughing lah. And then like at that point, right, we call ourselves barcode sister. Yeah, but until now we are still barcode sister. Okay, so last time it was where we realized that we put our arm next to each other, right? Because we want to take a photo for Racial Harmony Day or whatever. Then me and her and another Eurasian and then we asked another Malay friend to come and take. Like, you know that we were trying to parody the Singapore, don't know what, like total defense thing, where the different
logo is
colored people are here, like, you know, like people of colored people. Okay, these terms are not allowed, but you know that kind of concept. Then we're trying to parody it. Then it became a photo. Last time got no meme. Then I say, at first I said, because one of the guys said, you know, like this stupid joke lah, like whitewash wall and then one row of Indians, and then he said, barcode, that kind of thing. Then after that, she was very good in a sense that, that's why I say her EQ is very high. She turned it around, and she like, all of you are part of the barcode. So now, until now, you're a barcode sister. So I apologize to her for being complicit, and sometimes I laughing out loud. Then she say it's okay lah, like now, but I think it's not too late to apologize. And I really take it upon myself to talk about racial issues and things like that also. So
because we have the power as the majority, racial majority, to stand up for.
Correct. So another social group that was outcasted in our school, right? some of my seniors who are not straight lah, they are gays. But at that point in time, they also didn't come out to us. But I think because of them presenting themselves in a non-heteronormative manner, right?
Was very dangerous.
It was dangerous, but they were so brave also. Like one of them wrote a love letter
Oh wow,
to
to
a
who?
guy that he liked, but then that guy became the bully also.
Oh dear.
But then we didn't have, I was also very sad that I didn't have the right knowledge to,
Set
and
up
because
for
we
him.
didn't have
No.
kind of conversations that we had, then like we couldn't
No
also,
equipment,
and at that point of time, right, I also wasn't very sure what my stance is
towards this.
towards LGBT, because we have never had conversations. Like it was only in JC that through my teachers, my lead teachers, it became normalized. Yeah. So those are these kind of things that happen in school, and I think they are still happening now. Even though I think, to my credit of my students, in one of the schools that I was teaching, you know, they would stand up really against discrimination against
Love it. I think the new generation of kids, they are more
correct
aware.
So yeah, my previous form class was very supportive, in helping a classmate. He was deliberating whether to come out or not, and they're like, it doesn't matter to us, you are ready, you can come out. If you're not, then so, but also holding the space for this kind of conversation to take place in the classroom is important, but I think not officially allowed.
But don't you think that it is the people who have the power to create these safe spaces?
Yes.
Should be the one, not say should be lah, but because they have the power, they can.
Correct.
And they should be encouraged to, perpetuate this healthy cycle.
Correct. Which brings me to bullying in adulthood.
Okay.
Right? So,
have you been bullied as an adult?
Yes. So, but the kind of bullying in an adult is very systematic. It's not as if, okay, so I'm no longer that kind of like, keep quiet, or I call out. Like, okay, so for me, it's a lot easier to call out to bullies when the victim is not myself.
Oh, why can't you call out for yourself?
I will call out to myself, but sometimes it is difficult because, so in a normal setting, I won't get bullied like every day. But if it has to do with, for example, figures of authorities, I've been bullied by a colleague before, a co-worker, but I didn't fall into her trap lah. She tried to make it a boss like issue to say that we are bullying her or whatever, but I didn't fall for it. Yeah. But I was affected by it because I told my husband the other day, right, my default in treating people is like people are nice. Like I always assume that people are nice, and when people are not nice, I become very affected, like, why are people not nice? Yeah. And sometimes
I have a conclusion to that.
Yeah, what?
When people are not nice to you, it means they're hurt lor. I always use that as an excuse, not really an excuse for their behavior, but more like I feel like they have a lot of work to do.
Correct.
And I will draw a distance and I wish them the best.
Correct. So for peers or whatever, I am okay. I mean, I'm well trained to deal with them, right? But it has to do with like a very invisible, systematic form of bullying.
Yeah.
And disciplinary action has to be taken in terms of from the organization in removing them from a work context. I have no power for that really because I cannot enact that change.
Correct.
So this is where I feel stuck.
And when in an institution level or setting, when there is a disparity between parties and power,
yes,
it is very hard, even
Correct.
as a victim of bully, to enact any change.
Yeah.
The only way you can do it is to leave lor.
Correct.
Yeah. And
I will, I mean, in recent years, I've called out first.
And also because when everybody is institutionalized, they have this herd mentality. They don't want to rock the boat.
Correct.
So if, you're suffering, I'm so sorry for your suffering, but let's not try to, let's keep to our status quo. Right? Because we're all suffering together with you. They have this thing lah. I don't know. Yeah.
So I have been trying to, like recently I am somewhat in, it's not a service sector, but I have outward facing stuff to receive guests and things like that. And one stuck thing that I realized is that, wow, the way in which people treat others, each other, is so laden by perceptions of social class,
Incentive.
jobs, incentives, gender as well.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time I'm not working for a ministry, right? When to be honest, right, it's only now that I have that hindsight, because when I'm in that, I would also think that some people were not respecting me, right? But now it's even more stuck. Like when I'm out of the ministry and people thought that I am just a guide, for example, right? Or a person giving them a service.
Yes.
They will treat you like shit.
Yes.
And it was very mind-blowing to me. Of course, I wouldn't allow them to do that.
Yes.
It is, again, another skill to be professional, to render people a service, but yet stand your ground, right?
Yes.
And they also treat some people like shit, or like if they see you as just a girl, not a professional in their circle, or you are a person giving them a service, then they become so entitled and they treat you in a certain way.
Yeah.
So this is my culture shock.
Wow.
Like recently.
Really? You have not experienced that last time?
That is why I thought teachers were not respected in the society, but apparently then
non-teachers are worse.
Non-teachers are worse lah, right? I was very shocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you experienced these kind of things before, or like?
You can sense when I introduce myself as a managing director and I don't say who I am. When I do business dealing, you can see the difference as well.
Yes.
Especially when people, I don't know, the rank seems to matter a lot.
Correct. So if I don't tell people what is my role, right, they will assume that I am of I don't know why this is important to them, a lower rank person in the corporate side. The way that they treat you is very different. Yeah. It is very mind-blowing to me, because like I say, my standard, right, assumption is like, shouldn't we all treat each other the same? Like even if it's I don't know, I just, that's why I always, right, in the class I'll explicitly say like every job, right, is a respectable job. Correct. Kind of thing. Like I really hate the narrative whereby parents tell their children, if you don't study, you go and sweep the floor. What is wrong with sweeping the floor? That is my current sort of like shock of like, okay, I don't know whether this is a form of discrimination, which might in some cases escalate to harassment and bullying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it usually starts very small one, and
correct.
It's our mentality.
Correct.
Being taught.
It's the discrimination part. It starts with the discrimination part. Yeah. And then, so that is the, in a society, then this kind of thing can.
How do you prevent it, or like, not be a victim of it?
I don't know. Sometimes
Have you navigated it well?
I would think yes to like, okay, if it's a public facing thing, then okay. I'm still learning. I can establish that assertiveness much earlier on, right? Maybe in the first 5 seconds of me introducing myself. But then again, then it plays back to the people like I'm using my position, or influencing people's perception of me as a something. So actually, on some level, once I deconstruct this thing, I don't mind. They want to be rude to me, you be rude to me. I don't feel anything. Right? But if I want to do my job and pitch something or whatever,
and
then
if you are rude?
If they are rude, so I actually told my office person, someone of power, I said, yes, because there were complaints about other staff who were part-timer. Then again, like, why shouldn't you respect part-timer the same as full-timer? So I said, yes, we render service to people, we have decorum, but I told them like this. So this is what I feel that I can contribute in my small community, right? If I see people harassing, if they are VIP or they are any visitors harassing people working here, I will put my foot down. So I am very explicit in that. But I think the thing that I cannot navigate is within the organization, then people use insidious way and the network of power, because I don't have the bargaining power to make me do certain things, or
like form cliques, consolidate power, play politics, this kind.
Yeah, that kind I usually am not bothered. But it's like the only thing that I cannot transcend and have not gained enough skills is with bosses maybe. I don't know.
What kind of skills do you think?
I don't know. Like,
you
how
need
do
to
you
deal with
navigate with? How do you bargain with your bosses and let them and call out to them?
Call out to them.
Yeah, if
Bad behavior.
for their bad behavior, and also like then they are the people who can change the system, right?
Why don't you just call it out?
See, that's the problem with like business owner who is a boss. They all don't know how complex an organization is, and it's always also then it's always easy to us to say like, as a victim, right, of the bully, you should stand up for yourself. What if it's in a situation, even in schools, right? If you stand up for yourself, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and they come up with more and more and more tactics to bully you.
Have you experienced that before?
I've not experienced that, but I think I have seen maybe, or like things like stories of that lah.
So
that happen.
But that's in the premise that we stand up for ourselves, right? But if we don't, nothing gets changed, ma. That's my perspective.
Correct. So I think the first step is still
overcoming the fear, right?
Is still you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
But whether or not you will be successful,
you have to be prepared lah for the
But some if it has to be like harming someone physically, that kind of thing, right?
That one definitely police case one.
Yeah, so a lot of it's easy for us to say because we are not in the situation, is what I mean. And then that is where we might slip into the victim shaming kind of thing. So in my school, there was, a case where I was unable to help my friend in secondary school. And until now, I think the people who were involved in the bullying they are okay with me all along. But I lost my respect for them, even as adults. A bit lah. But they present themselves as nice people. But they have lured my friend into an unsafe situation in a car park.
Oh no.
And punched him. And my friend, that day I was walking with him from bus stop to he was asking me whether we want to walk together to the bus stop, but we stay in different estates. And then the other people came along and try and distract me. Hey, Clara, you just bought a uniform, that kind of thing. At a point in time, I thought they were just talking to me like normal because I talk to everyone. But the next day or that afternoon, the victim called me and told me what happened, that he was punched in a car park. He wanted to follow me so that maybe I could do something about it. Which he know I will lah. He knew I will.
You needed your protection that way.
Correct, but they managed to distract me early enough to get him on the bus to his house.
I'm so sorry to hear.
Yeah, so I was like, but after that I helped him to we explore option, and discuss with a teacher, that kind of thing. But he decided not to do anything about it because precisely then, in terms of social life, it will be so shitty in the subsequent years.
Especially when your whole social world is in school.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. Like, I cannot tell you why we cannot call out all the time when we are the victim. And especially I say, in situations whereby the webs of power, they are very invisible and they are structural. It has to do with other things. That part I cannot.
I see.
Correct.
So overcoming bullying, what are the ways to do that based on your experience?
I think maybe I don't know lah, but step one call a spade a spade. And the people around you have to call a spade a spade.
Correct.
In one instance, right, I think the organization wanted to frame a certain thing as is an issue between personnel. I say no.
What
this
organization?
is
your workplace.
In a workplace setting. Okay. So it is I said no, this is bullying, this is workplace bullying, and this is harassment.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge it, and we cannot call it something else, just an issue. It is bullying. Yeah. And
because there's power in the
the action was very explicit. There was harassment words sent via text and stuff like that. So you just call
the receipts.
Call it bullying, and the organization must help
Correct.
Right? So actually, okay, on the level, okay, so that thing didn't, it's just called bully. Yeah. So the first step, I think maybe, I don't know about the subsequent step because it's so complicated and very contextual and situational, right? But call a spade lah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to put myself in a position of a victim in a workplace setting and when I'm bullied, right, I will make sure that everybody goes down with me.
But how is very difficult when nobody's on your side.
When nobody's
and then
on
your work
side.
is your payroll is at stake. Your payroll is at stake, and especially if you are in a vulnerable position whereby you need the payroll.
And there's no ally, right?
There's no ally.
Understand.
Correct. So sometimes it's difficult. I don't know how to solve that. So
walking away, is it a solution?
No, so sometimes yes, it's a solution. It's a way it's a way in which you are protecting yourself.
Correct.
But I mean, maybe the workplace will say, are you loser or that kind of thing lah. But
can you be a bully back to the bullier?
Some people can choose that, right?
Okay.
But then it's not in my nature to do that also. You know, that kind of thing lah. It depends on individual lor. But then like but there are some situations, that's why like certain groups of people are in terms of structure, like because of I don't have enough money, I don't have enough resources and whatever, right? I don't have social.
Vulnerable.
I don't have social, so it makes you more vulnerable to bullying leh.
Correct.
Yeah.
So as people with resources, with power, with, I guess, the ability to stop the perpetuation of this, I guess we should lah.
Yes.
Yeah, we should step in and intervene.
Correct. So number one, if you are a victim of bullying, right, we hope that, you know, in time to come you can find a footing. I think for some people, right, the journey is very long because you will still be scarred by bullying instances and things like that. You are still healing. Number two, please do not be a bully. And number three, please do not be an enabler.
Yes. Of the bullying.
Of the whole bullying or whatever. Yeah lah, just stand up for people lah.
Stand up for people, yeah.
I know this is like, okay, so the standing up for people is the, okay lah, highest ideal lah, highest level unlock lah. To me it's not lah, but to some of you it might be. But at least don't be an enabler.
Don't be complicit.
Don't be complicit in the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have more or less
covered. Wow, this is a very heavy topic.
In a heavy topic, thank you for being with us. And if you have experiences, right, or you want to buzz with us, or send us a DM in either privately, if you are our friend, or on our DM or on our comment section.
And if you happen to hear this while also suffering from this kind of situation, I wish that you will have the courage to either walk away or, you know, seek help lah. If not, then don't give up. Yeah.
And if you have suggestions, right, on like how to overcome or transcend structural workplace bullying, share with us. Because I want to learn also, you know.
Yeah, but calling a spade is very important. Then once you call a spade, you know what is your next move already. It's either you stay and continue suffering because you already call it a spade, you already know that it's suffering. Then the trade-off is for the stable income is like 忍咯. But I can tell you like to a time where you cannot tolerate anymore, and if to a point where the situation actually changes your inner being, right, and made you feel worse than before, then maybe it's really time to evaluate your options too. As much as there's a lot of we're bound by a lot of circumstance in life, but I still feel like we do have agency. We still feel like we don't feel like we have no options. And find somebody to confide in.
Yeah, thank you for ending on a very hopeful note. So I know that every time things happen, right, it doesn't seem like it will get better.
But it will.
But really, you have to tell yourself that it will get better.
Yes.
Yeah. Can. Okay, so thank you very much. See you really soon in our next episode.
Yes.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey, we don't have our recommendation.
Yeah, I don't have. It's serious topic. I got no prologue, and I got no recommendation.